Brian White is here. He is, last I checked, he runs a channel called Futuraza.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you can find him under that same brand on X. So if you haven't done that yet, you should. Today on X, Brian, I ran a poll
Hmm.
and I asked, I know you never see me running any polls on.
No.
No, I really love running polls. It's so much fun. It's one of my most fun things to do. Anyway, I'm easily amused. I asked the question, which of these two products do you think will be the next product that Elon announces, whether or not
Hmm.
that's the special announcement he's got coming up by the end of the year. But I think one of these two things is definitely going to be announced soon. And I was kind of surprised at the result. I asked, do you think it will be solar panels
Hmm.
per Elon's statement last week that he is he's thinking about putting up a solar gigafactory? Or do you think it would be drones, which is
Hmm.
something that he's been talking about almost since I've been doing this channel? And I've been talking about it since when he mentioned it, I was already thinking about it. The future of warfare is drones. The future of so many delivery services is drones. Drones are going to be just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he said that he never said he thought he would make drones, never said he's thinking about it. I just think it's a natural. Anyway, so I did the poll.
Those were the two options.
Those were the two options. Well,
Oh,
the
geez.
third
Okay.
option, the third option was neither,
Hmm.
and the fourth option was other,
Mm.
or something else. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And 40% said solar, 40% said drones, 10% or a little more said neither, 15% I think said neither, and the rest said other.
Wow.
I haven't, it was too short a time ago to see whether there was any comments of people suggesting other.
Mm.
So I'm now going to turn it over to you and let you play with it for a minute before I ask you more questions.
Well, it's fascinating to see poll results that are so detached from reality.
Oh my gosh.
So, no, I tease, of course, but solar is low margin. It's a difficult business. It's a commodity game. Tesla doesn't generally get into anything unless they can disrupt it. There has to be a big advantage for them. Now, that advantage could be they want solar panels, but dropping a few $1 billion to save 10% on a purchase doesn't make sense to me. I agree that it's something someone needs to do. I don't know if Tesla will decide they're the ones to do it. And while I can see a national interest in having it, in not being beholden to China for supply of solar panels, um, that doesn't mean that the shareholders and the board of directors would agree. Now, I think with a lot of the shareholders, whatever Elon says, they agree with. So that's a secondary matter. But he does have a fiduciary responsibility to investors. And if he intentionally goes into a low margin or potentially money losing venture without an end game, lawsuits could ensue.
All right. So
And
so last night I did a video. I'll put the card up at the end. I did a video about the reasons why Tesla can make solar batteries, I'm sorry, solar panels less expensively delivered to the site, less expensively delivered to the site than China can.
Mhm.
Even if they didn't have tariffs, and even if China was being subsidized, or China was subsidizing some of these operations, that they could do it less expensively. And some of those reasons would be, for instance, Optimus. Some
There's
of
no humans in a solar factory. There's already no humans.
So therefore, if there's no humans, then you eliminate labor anyway. So if
Mhm.
labor is not an issue, then labor is not an issue. So the raw material costs are going to be roughly the same in China as they are in the United States, because raw materials are commodities and they're
Mhm.
traded internationally. And
Mhm.
yes, you can, if you're really big, which Tesla would be, they would be probably the biggest in the United States using many of these products. They would be able to get very, very good prices on the commodities. But then I added into this the tremendous advantage of the transportation once we have electric trucks that could pick up the raw materials and deliver the finished products,
Mm.
not only electric, but also probably by that time autonomously. So we're talking
Mm.
about 18 months from now. So I'm guessing by that time, The trucks could deliver pick up the product, raw materials, deliver the product autonomously. Transportation cost difference, counting overseas transportation, truck transportation in China, truck transportation in the United States. The difference in just that transportation cost would be massive.
So I'm going to disagree on that. The cost of a shipping container from the port of Shanghai to, say, Long Beach is very, very low. It's like a couple $1,000s
Sometimes.
to sometimes. Uh, but if the cost of getting it from Tesla's solar panel factory to a customer in the US is greatly reduced because of autonomous trucking, that autonomous trucking could still work from the port to the customer. And so I think the savings would be, I mean, it depends where the customer is. If the factory is in Buffalo, then the East Coast, it might be cheaper. The West Coast, it definitely wouldn't be, because trucking it all the way across the country versus just moving it from the port in, the tariffs would be the deciding factor in terms of cost, as far as I can tell. There's a reason China dominates on solar panels. They're very good at it. They've gotten a way to make them very cheap and effective. And yeah, I do not see them. But even if they could make them and deliver them a bit cheaper, there's a floor to what the price can be, and the margin would not be in line with Tesla's other products and expectations. They love their big fat margins, and I I'm confident they could build a solar fab. I'm confident they will not, because the margin just isn't there.
Okay, so then the next thing would be verticality.
Hmm.
Okay, so for instance, Tesla could use, I don't know, all of their production probably for their own purposes. So they could use them for all of their
New charging.
for charging stations for both cars and for trucks. They could use them for their own factories, their own service centers, their own et ceteras. They could use them. They already own solar farms in Texas, in Spain. They could add to those solar farms or create new solar farms around the world where they're selling retail or wholesale electricity. They have
But
a,
now they're shipping it around the world, and that was what we were trying to avoid in the first half of the scenario. So I think while Tesla could consume a lot of it, I think everything is extreme scale. Tesla's about extreme scale. So I think they would have a problem, certainly consuming everything that they produce if they're at extreme scale. But I just don't see the margin being sufficient. Great, they could put it on all their own things in-house, but if they're only saving, 5%, the idea of saving even 10%, if the cost is building a $5 or $10 billion solar fab, I just think it's, difficult. I think the math, I think they would rather deploy the capital building an army of Optimus, an army of Robotaxi. I think those would be better uses of their money in their view.
so Tesla probably has unlimited money.
Mm.
So to the extent that Elon decides that 40 billion in the bank is not enough to do everything that he wants to do, they have almost no borrowing. And
Hmm.
based on what we're seeing with all the other companies, if he went back to the market, if he decided, oh, I
Hmm.
need 100 billion to build solar and Optimus and robotaxis and all at once, I think he could easily do it. So then my other argument would be that this both is a part of the mission to move the country, move the world to faster to sustainable energy. It is part of Elon's approach to everything to bring manufacturing to the location where it's going to be used. It is part of Elon's plan to get to 1,000 terawatts of energy just himself, by himself. So that combined with their own product. So now you can sell it as a package. You can sell your solar and your batteries at the same time. You've got the whole shoot and match to provide to the same clients and customers. And my guess would be that Tesla has technology that we don't even have a clue about, since they've
Well,
been.
that would be the only way to do it. They have to disrupt. They don't go into anything unless they can disrupt, or the benefit is immeasurable. So, for example, a lot of the things that they brought in-house, it's very easy to use other people's software. It's very expensive to use your own. but that is what has allowed them to thrive and prosper. And that's why they had no choice but to do it. And now, of course, rival software companies like Green Hills have taken that personally. But of course, as a honors student from, I assume, Barnum and Bailey, Clown College, he is going to do his thing. I don't care for Dan. I find him to be ghoulish and dishonest. I don't see if Tesla has something disruptive, they may do it. I don't see room for disruption in the industry. It's very mature. Whereas with Boring, Elon looked at it and said, wait, you guys haven't really changed these in 50 years. There's got to be a better way. And they go, well, there's so few jobs because it's so expensive. It's like, well, right. Wouldn't there be more jobs if it was less expensive? It's like rockets. Who needs 200 launches a year? That's crazy. Well, right, because launching is so expensive. What if we cut the price by 70%? Would we need 200 then? Well, we'd need more than that. Well, get to work. What are you doing? So
All right.
solar, I don't see.
All right. Let's switch then to drones.
Yes.
So,
Drones, well, it's a national security concern.
right.
We've seen that more than ever. If you've ever seen a drone show up close and personal, you have a bit of an awakening because you realize, oh, all of the military hardware we built in the 20th century is obsolete.
Right.
You could take down this $100 million aircraft for about $1,000 quite effectively. And there are countermeasures, and there are countermeasures and countermeasures. It just keeps going. But if we've seen anything in Ukraine, it's just how effective low-cost drones can be in combating billions of dollars of once unshakable equipment.
Yeah,
So,
in fact,
yes.
over the weekend, I saw an article that was talking about the drone warfare now in the Ukraine, and they say basically the reason that there's no movement, that the line is static, is because if you pop your head up, a drone shoots your head off. If you try to move a tank into position, drone comes in and blows up the tank. It's like there's drones on both sides now. That it's basically drone versus drone is where it is happening, which is exactly what Elon predicted 18 months ago. So
Mhm.
would you be thinking that they would be looking at doing that Elon would be looking at a range of drones all the way up to fighter jets, or would you think he'd be looking more on the commercial side where there'd be lots of volume?
Well, I think it would be neither. I think it would not be drones at all. Drones are very complicated, very advanced and mature, and very low margin. So I think that while Tesla could design and build a drone, the next step, the much more important step, would be onshoring all the components, which would be a much greater task, would drive the cost up. Um, I think that the pricing would push it out of the reach of consumers. Certainly, there would be people who would buy it, but not in the kinds of volumes we see with Chinese drones. And that the real reason for that is there's no domestic supply chain for the vast majority of the critical components of a drone. So great, we can build one, but not without all these imported parts that in a time of national crisis, we would not have access to. So I think the scope of that problem is the sort of thing that would require an Apollo kind of program, a moonshot effort, where the government steps up and says, here's all the things we need. We're going to offer some support to those industries so they may emerge. Uh, but I know that's government and we hate government. But in the absence of it, what we've got is no drones in a world run by, controlled by drones. So is that something Tesla would take on? I don't, again, the margin doesn't make sense. And the scope of the challenge I'd, in both the cases of solar and drones, I'd prefer to see those as whole separate companies. So they can, with low stock valuations, attract amazing talent, attract outside capital, attract the kind of investors who are more interested in green initiatives in the case of solar or national security issues in the case of drones, who understand those risks, understand those distractions. And then you could get CEOs in there to run those companies who have tremendous proficiencies in those fields. I don't think Tesla, I think Tesla has so much on their plate that going after another mature, expensive, low margin industry, I don't think this is the time for that.
So in both of those cases, I'm assuming that if in fact, because you kind of hinted at this a minute ago, in both of those cases, if Tesla did have uh, ground groundbreaking, breakthrough technology that changed everything about the cost or about the efficiency, or about the methodology, or about some of the other things you brought up. If they did have the tech,
If they had the disruption.
yeah.
Well, I would say that if they have like some new solar cell, that would count as disruption. That would change the math completely. But in terms of drones, there's too much math. There's too many. It's already being incrementally improved in every department by every company that already makes them. I think them trying to catch up would be like Waymo trying to catch up with robotaxi a year from now.
So this
Uh,
is now you're saying this about a guy where
It's not about the guy.
we're just
It's about the product.
well, no, I'm saying
And
Elon,
while
Elon
he could
himself.
while
Yeah.
he could while he excelled in getting a rocket company off the ground, at getting an EV company off the ground, they both took everything and had every reason to fail. I don't need to see Tesla get into a business that could break them. That seems like a foolish idea for a company that's been so successful, unless they have a clear path to disruption. And we've never heard anything that would indicate that they do. Elon's just said we need more solar. He's just said the US should have its own drones. He hasn't said we have welcome to drone day.
No, he has said he's thinking about the solar. Okay, so let me ask you this: would you have thought it was a good idea to start XAI within Tesla rather than as a separate company? Taking out of the equation the scientists that he said he couldn't get without it. But if he could have gotten those scientists, would you have rather seen XAI started within Tesla instead of outside of it?
Um, so you're unfortunately you just took out the heart of it. Could he have gotten world-class engineers without them being able to enjoy what are they at now? 40x on if you got stock options when you were a founding employee in the first 6 months, year, hasn't your stock grant 40x'd already?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So that's why they're there.
Right.
So they had to, in my opinion, in my view, they had to do it outside the company. Now, to the rest of your question, the rest of the hypothetical, I don't think at the time shareholders had the appetite for that kind of venture. It wasn't sufficiently understood by enough people. And I already saw a lot of people saying, why is Tesla building a data center at all? Shouldn't they? Isn't FSD already solved
So,
internally?
but I want to know from you, would you have liked, because I know that right after they announced it, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that should
No,
be
I was fine with it.
Tesla.
I was fine with it being an outside thing, in part because um, AI is something beyond my core competency.
Mm.
And I know what a cash sink a new venture can be. And if you look at, a new venture, the question always comes up, how are you going to monetize it? And with XAI, we didn't have a clear answer yet. Well, they could sell their services to Tesla. It's like, well, that's not monetizing. That's just cooperation. And now we're seeing that the Grok model has reached a point where it is monetized and it can at various levels, and we'll see substantial revenue. And I think that it being a separate company worked well. The other problem with XAI is, I don't think Elon would be wise to give Wall Street voting power over what the company does.
Well, I'm sure that's a big concern of his. Um,
Because he wanted to take Tesla private. He doesn't want any of these
right,
companies
right,
public.
right.
And I have seen some real cotton-headed takes saying that, well, this is going to be a backdoor. XAI is going to take Tesla private. What? That's not, you don't know how any of this stuff works. What are you talking about? They don't have that kind of money.
All right. So I think this really comes down to I believe in Elon more than you do.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I
I'm
I
not
know you do. I know you do because I
so
believe in the
I just watched,
companies.
yeah, I just watched what he did in terms of pulling together 100,000 GPUs and and having them all run, what do they call that? All together. There's a word for it. I forget.
Inference?
No, they ran,
No.
they don't have to be put in 31,000 clusters.
All right.
They all run in one cluster. And Elon came up with that. And
super cluster.
And Jensen Huang says, I don't know how he did that. I mean, I don't have a clue. How did he build all that out so quickly? How did he get it up and running in 121 days? I mean, Elon has these capabilities. I think if he wanted to go into solar or drones, he would do it he would do it like he did XAI. He would do it like he did boring. It would be different. It would be unique. It would be built faster than anybody else at lower cost of factory than anybody else, with unique methodologies of producing it within the factory that nobody else has. Somebody said the other day, there's something called flow technology on glass that he would be able to use, this flow technology. I don't know anything about it. Don't know if it's true. Just things like that China probably isn't even paying attention to right now because they don't need to, because they own the business. So these kind of things I think would happen, and probably why he's thinking about it is he needs to kind of get those things lined up before he makes a decision.
Well, I think once the candy company is open, we'll have a more serious discussion about it.
I'd like to have a candy company. Only dark, though. Only dark chocolates. So anyway, I think that's where we come down. So I'd love to have comments below. What do you think? Is solar or drones or neither or something else? And Brian, I failed, other than the candy company, I did fail to ask you, is there something you'd like to see that you think's possible?
Well, here's what I think we may see in the next 6 months, the more affordable model, whatever it may be. Right. I think we will see expansion of robotaxi in ways that are very exciting. We may see a robotaxi day where they say, look, we started with this. This is now what we're at. This is where we expect to be in 6 months. And those are coming. I'd like to see something announced with Semi, because it's about that time. I mean, we keep having semi events. We've had 2 already, and we still haven't opened the factory. So maybe we should do that, you think? And the biggest announcement I'm waiting to see is that I'm invited.
To anything.
Anything.
Just something. Yeah.
Anything.
Yes. Well, there's always hope.
Other companies will do it.
So there's got to be a way, Brian. There's got to be
companies
companies
I've been deeply critical of have still been nice to me. I get to meet executives from Lucid.
I sent out, a broadcast to everybody saying, hey, if you've got a +1, invite Brian. I don't know, Brian. I don't know what we're going to do. There's got to be a way sometime.
Well, they haven't had +1s for the last couple of events. So
yeah.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. All right, Brian. Well, any last thoughts on this one?
No, I think we need to get a few things off our plate before we put any other big things on it.
Yeah. Or expand the plate, I suppose. But yeah, all right. But if there's only that much plate, then we should definitely eat our peas and mashed potatoes before yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Something like that. All right, Brian. As always, thanks for joining, and to all of you out there, I really want to see your comments. And I'm going to put that card up there on the solar concept and why, in more detail, why I believe that it can be made in the United States by Elon Musk less expensively than even importing the Chinese products at this point. All right, that's all I got for you. It's been great talking to you.